first, or is he coming in last?
First.
Okay, got it.
First. He's going to be first.
Excellent.
Yeah, he'll be, Chattanooga Police Department will come in first, then he'll be in the first VIP car.
Okay.
Following the police.
And there will be a delay as he gets out of the car and makes his way.
Sure, absolutely.
Infantry will be in front of him, but he'll be the first civilian.
Chief wants to make sure that she's here.
Check.
She just got done out of surgery last week. So we had to go take her back to the car just to sit down a little bit. And call her on the way starting up the street.
Sure.
See, check.
Check.
That's a microphone.
Make sure.
I'm not on the stage this time. I told him right over there. I just saw that. I said, "What do you do?" Oh, that's cool. But we need to wait till after that's cool too.
Modern day hero, so far away, bearing. It was a feeling started long.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for a parade? I'm Chip Chapman from WDEF News 12, and I've got to tell you, this is going to be a parade unlike any you have ever seen. As you'll hear in a moment, this is the first such parade we have had here in Chattanooga since 1946, all honoring one very special man, Captain Larry Taylor. Before Captain Taylor rolls in, a big round of applause, if you would, for our men and women from the Chattanooga Police Department. We also have a lot of folks here from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and you're going to be seeing a lot of law enforcement today. You'll be seeing a lot of military presence here, obviously, and you'll be hearing from some very special guests as we continue with the Welcome Home Captain Taylor Parade.
It's not a money problem. Great. I mean, I've done the 90s with a money problem. So it's not a money problem. It's just a panic problem.
Well, God bless me for yours, but I protect them. They will.
And while we were mentioning the Chattanooga Police Department as well as Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, we can't get our friends with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, several state troopers here joining us. We thank each of you for your service. And next up, we have some folks who came in long distance to see us. These folks are from Fort Riley, Kansas, the United States Army, 1st Infantry Division, the Mounted Color Guard. And if you look overhead, you'll be seeing one of the helicopters as well. And the helicopter that is overhead, it is a Cobra helicopter, pretty much identical to the one Captain Taylor flew in combat. Now getting out of the red Corvette the reason we are all here today. The gentleman you will soon be meeting in just a moment is one of only six individuals from Chattanooga to receive our nation's highest military award. As many of you know, Mr. and Mrs. Larry Taylor were in Washington, D.C. back on September the 5th to get the Medal of Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Captain Larry Taylor. Captain Taylor, I haven't earned the right to do what I'm about to do, but I have been formally authorized to give you this on behalf of your hometown, the most patriotic city in America, Chattanooga, Tennessee, as we salute, thank, and honor Captain Larry Taylor. Captain.
Current edition of the Big Red Wolf. Well, like Stephen Ambrose said, they're always first. They are the first. I'm a proud along. Where's your chair? You got a place to sit back. He's going to make me right on the left.
Make a warm round of welcome, if you would, for our friends from the River City Corvette Club.
I got my speech. More dangerous.
Go along.
And we have Admiral Noah Long from the Medal of Honor Heritage Center and Museum. And Noah is the chairman emeritus, I believe. Probably in vain. Most of us here are familiar with exactly the mission that Captain Larry Taylor flew all those years ago. There is one surviving member of the folks that Larry picked up and flew in that helicopter. This gentleman right here, Sergeant Dave Hill. Sergeant Hill, take a bow if you would. Now we have the vice chair of the Medal of Honor Heritage Center and Museum. As soon as they figure out how to unlock the car door. And also the official Hamilton County historian. Gentlemen, Linda Moss Mines. Representing the Chattanooga Area Veterans Council, it is Chairman Wayne Belk. We're also proud to welcome Chairman Emeritus Major General Bill Raines, past chair, the Medal of Honor Heritage Center. Bill.
My son, my daughter, my 4-month-old grandson. Yeah, they were in the last car to make it. They're a quarter.
His family, bring him up here. All kinds of stuff. Well, this was neat. This was just an idea 5 years ago. We went upstairs to research.
Also from Fort Riley. Also from Fort Riley, Kansas, the United States Army, 1st Infantry. Next up, with our huge American flag from Soddy Daisy High School, the JROTC, Soddy Daisy Mighty Trojans. Next up, another one of our dynamic JROTC programs around the area. Make welcome the men and women from Sale Creek High School, Army JROTC, the Sale Creek Panthers. They are under the command of Lieutenant Colonel David Story.
Tax you for you. Get one for your wife. Don't stand the whole time. You'll burn yourself out. You're all gonna mob you after this.
Just sit down there if you want to sit down. There, very thoughtful. Very good, Tony. That's courtesy of General Raines and Admiral Long.
Oh, by the way, people in Hawaii, salute.
Hey, Larry.
You can salute.
Next up, one of the bigger vehicles you will see here today, and this is a monster. This is a 7-ton troop carrier. This is presented by our friends at the staff of the Medal of Honor History Center and Museum. Actually, it's the Medal of Honor Heritage Center. My mistake. If you haven't been to the Medal of Honor Center, it's right behind us. Let me encourage you to take the entire family out there. You will be glad you did. And they have free admission until 3:30 this afternoon.
Don't fall.
Vietnam Veterans Association. Yeah.
Next up, we have the Military Offers Association of America, the Chattanooga chapter, riding along in the good Ram truck. And we have the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 203. Chapter 203.
Second largest in the United States.
This, by the way, is something to be proud of. They are the second largest in the United States. We have the Vietnam Veterans of America, again, Chapter 203. Y'all got Gene Crozier on that bus? Is Gene Crozier on this bus? Y'all be careful. Whatever you do, be careful if Crozier's on the bus. Gene, we love you. Vietnam Veterans. This is Chapter 203 continuing. And our friends who so proudly have served their country, the United States Marine Corps. Next up, in another beautiful Ram truck, the Vietnam Veterans of America, over from Middle Tennessee, from Waverly. This is Chapter 1053. And from just up the road in Bradley County, the Vietnam Veterans of America. From Cleveland, Chapter 596. And the Red Bank Lions. Many years ago, I had the pleasure of attending Red Bank. Next up, another dynamic JROTC unit from East Hamilton High School. We have the Magnolia chapter of the Gold Star Wives of America. And it looks like we have our friends from the UTC Mocs, their ROTC, Army Mocs Battalion.
No idea.
And next up, we have our Sons of the American Revolution. Thank you all for showing up. This is the John Sevier chapter located right here in Chattanooga. We thank you. And the Red Bank JROTC, the Lion Brigade.
You like a sip of water, sir?
No, I'm good. I'm good so far.
We got it right here next to your chair.
And we're also well represented by the Tennessee Sheriff's Association. We're glad you all are here.
Great flag.
And from just down the road in beautiful Fort Oglethorpe, it is the Fort Oglethorpe Veteran and Citizens Council. And the beautiful artwork on display from Ridgeland High School.
Thank you all.
And we have the American Legion Unit number 214 in Rossville. And here's another great project that our friend Mickey McCamish has been very active in implementing and executing. It is Wreaths Across Chattanooga. Let me encourage you to check out their website and find out how you can help. Next up, these lovely ladies are the Daughters of the American Revolution.
High School following.
Captain Taylor, I got to ask you, so far, you happy with the parade?
Shit, Jeff. Larry.
Hey, how are you, sir? Good. We're happy you're here. Thanks for coming out. From Ooltewah High School, it is the U.S. Army JROTC, the Owl Battalion.
I wouldn't do it for the mayor of our county.
You do have the number from my wife, memorized. Maybe ask her to relay it to them.
Hey, Taylor, I'm so proud of you, sir. Don't go out. Don't go out. I want you to follow off the stage. I don't want you to come over here. Dave Hill. Charlie Hawk.
Our friends from Honest Charlie Speed Shop, located right here in Chattanooga. The most famous mustache in America, belonging to Corky Coker.
Howard High School, Navy Army.
Next up, I believe from Howard High School, the Hustlin' Tigers of Howard. And they are Navy JROTC. And wonderful, wonderful neighbors in the Chattanooga South Side. Another dynamic JROTC unit. It is Hickson High School and the mighty Wildcats with the Air Force JROTC. Full speed ahead.
It's going to be the EPB or TBA, we'll see.
And the 241st EIS Volunteer Air Station, the Air National Guard, thanking Captain Larry Taylor. Back to some JROTC, the Brainerd High School, the Panthers. What a dynamically beautiful day for a parade honoring Captain Larry Taylor. Next up, we've got our friends from Cumulus Broadcasting, Talk Radio 102.3. Is that Jennifer behind the wheel? Oh, heavens, look out. Look out. 107.9, it's New Country, also in the Cumulus family. And we have our friends from Chattanooga's Classic Rock, KZ 106. And here we have Medicare Misty. Hi, Misty. Let's hear it for Misty Bolton. Medicare Misty.
This is the Army.
Next up, we have the Tennessee Army National Guard. Is that right, Mickey?
Army.
Army.
181st.
The 181st and
240th.
the 240th. And while we're waiting for our next JROTC unit to come a little bit closer to the stand, let's give a big round of applause, as only Chattanooga can do, for the men and women who are currently fighting for us and our freedoms, and for the veterans as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Time now for a visit from the East Ridge High School Pioneers and the Army JROTC. Our next group is also very active when we have our Armed Forces Day parade here in downtown Chattanooga. How about a big round of applause for the great folks from River City Corvette Club? We have some other folks you'll be hearing from a little bit later on into the day. Ben Cagle. Ben, maybe, are you speaking publicly, Ben? Ben says no. He's going to give his time to Chattanooga Mayor Tim Kelly. Chattanooga Mayor Tim Kelly is here. Also Hamilton County Mayor Weston Wapp and a host of other dignitaries here.
Larry, sir, a long way from East Chattanooga Day. Remember our submarine class?
And we say this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. you probably will never meet another man who most defines the term hero. He is standing to my right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Larry Taylor. Captain Taylor is only the 6th Chattanoogan to receive this Medal of Honor, and you had a whole community watching you from the White House last week, Captain Taylor. We were all very proud of you in spirit, being with you there in spirit. And we have the Boyd Buchanan Buccaneers. Next up, it is the Marine Corps League. The Marine Corps League continuing with another beautiful pickup. And we also have the Disabled American Veterans. These folks are from the Robert Lovelady Memorial. This is chapter number 6.
American Legion 291.
Next up, we have our friends from the American Legion Post number 291.
Sir, I wanted to.
Number 291.
If you'd like to wear it, you're welcome to keep it. It is all yours, sir. Wow. Thank you. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You can find out more about them by checking out their website, tnlegion0291.com. Again, tnlegion0291.com. In the beautiful red Corvettes, we have got the Reserve Officers of America, rather the Reserve Organization of America, with John and Judy Davenport behind the wheel of the red Corvette. And we have the Tri-State Women Veterans. These represent folks all across the nation, but especially right here in Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. Yes, we do. You're right. The Tri-State Women Veterans, we thank you for your service as well. Sign sums it up. You're an inspiration to us. The American Legion Post from the beautiful city of East Ridge. This is Post 95, the William Blair Post. Here we go with the Knights of Columbus. This is the Assembly 3250 right here in Chattanooga. Always doing something great for our community, the Knights of Columbus. And a big shout out to our friends at the Sound Post as well for making sure we have got the proper amount of audio getting cranked out. Speaking of cranking out, these folks here serve our community tirelessly as well. The men and women of the Chattanooga Fire Department. Purple Pounders are up next. The JROTC program from Central High School. In the big Ford pickup truck, we have got the Dark Horse Air Cavalry. Dark Horse Air Cavalry. Thank you. And this, by the way, was Captain Larry Taylor's unit in Vietnam. Is that correct?
Yep, Dark Horse.
Silverdale Baptist Academy. Next up, we have engine number 1 from Walden's Ridge up on beautiful Signal Mountain. And representing another one of our great schools here, the Civil Air Patrol. Here's one that's absolutely close to my heart. This is Freedom Sings USA. Check out freedomsingsusa.org. First class. Is that Steve Dean? No, it's Steve Dean. I need to talk to you. Post number 36.
36.
Is that 36?
Vets.
That is 36.
Yep.
All right. And our friends from TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority, and their dynamic police unit there. Gentlemen, thanks for coming out. Another one of the dynamic vehicles operated by the good men and women of TVA. Every day at 12 noon when you walk into Mission Barbecue, it all stops and the national anthem plays. We thank you for your patriotism as well. Mission Barbecue. It's barbecue the American way. And the Boy Scouts of America are joining us. Troop 172 from St. Jude Church. They're not all Boy Scouts in that troop. Far from it. Scouting makes an important impact on the men and women. Bill Norton. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Norton is here. Wow, beautiful Honda bike, Bill. He is the official parade marshal here today. And I believe we have one or two more. These are the folks from, they're not officially in the parade, I don't think. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Was this a parade or what? Let me tell you.
You can sit down now.
A couple of other of the reasons that we are here. This gentleman, Captain Larry Taylor, flew more than 2,000 combat missions in his Cobra. Think about that, 2,000 combat missions. Was engaged by enemy fire 340 times, shot down out of the sky 5 times, and goes back and picks up his fellow soldiers from the field of battle. Join me again, Captain Larry Taylor. And we told you a little bit earlier that the survivor from that helicopter ride, that fateful night in Vietnam all those years ago, was here. I wanted to bring up Dave Hill for just a moment. Dave, very quickly, and I know you have had Dave Hill, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your service as well. This isn't your official time to speak yet. This is me going off script. It happens all the time.
I'm not a survivor. I'm a U.S. Army Ranger.
A U.S. Army Ranger. Thank you for the correction. I know you and Larry, Captain Taylor, have had a chance to spend a few minutes together over the past few days. From that time in Vietnam when you last saw him until the time that you saw him when all this started to snowball. And then when you got word he was going to get our nation's highest military honor, what went through your mind?
Well, I hadn't seen Larry since Vietnam till 1999. He was an official guest of our First Division Ranger reunion in Branson, Missouri. Then he became inducted by us. No longer he was one of us because his D troop and our LERPs were always one and the same. We actually started out together. Then we got up here and Senator Bob Corker, because the award would be coming more than 3 years after the event. We need a senatorial support.
All right. Army Ranger, Airborne Ranger, thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Hill. Proud to call this guy a friend. And I'm telling you, they don't get any better than Captain Larry Taylor. Captain Taylor, it's been an honor being here with you today, and I thank you so much for your service.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're going to be talking here a little bit later on, so we're going to let you get rested up. Again, my name is Chip Chapman from Channel 12. This has been the honor, literally, of a lifetime, being here with you and being here with our hometown hero, Captain Larry Taylor.
Thank you. Afternoon, everybody. You hot enough out there? All right, we're going to have a good time. We really need to thank and give a round of applause to the Chattanooga Area Veterans Council. They put on this parade. Let's give them applause. I want to thank all of y'all for coming out here to celebrate Larry Taylor and his magnificent accomplishment. And we want to give him one more round of applause. Larry, you going to say a couple words? He's good?
I'll be speaking for Larry and myself both.
Okay. All right. My name's Frank Hughes. I'm with the National Medal of Honor Heritage Center right over there. If you haven't been there, you need to go check it out. And what do you think about that parade? I thought it was great. Well, our organization celebrates the Medal of Honor recipients and what they want. And what they want is education, and we try to give it to them to build character traits. But to start this off, I'm going to introduce for our invocation Lieutenant Colonel Rich West to give our invitation. If you would stand, please. Please, thanks.
I invite you to bow your heads as I pray. O King and Judge of the nations, we remember before you with grateful hearts these esteemed heroes, recipients of our nation's highest award, especially today, Captain Larry Taylor, who in the day of decision ventured much for the liberties we now enjoy. Grant that we may not rest until all the people of this land share the benefits of true freedom and gladly accept its disciplines. We give you thanks for this, your servant who fought and served and whom we honor today. May those of us who continue to wear the uniform find themselves faithful stewards of the example set before us by his selfless service to God and country. Through Christ the Lord, I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, to get us off, we're going to start off with almost a home run right here. Joining us for this whole week is Leroy Petrie. He's a Master Sergeant in the Army, retired, and he also is a Medal of Honor recipient. He also, there's more. He's the head of the Medal of Honor Society, and if you would, let's give him a huge round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess that's not going to work. I actually have a little hard time holding the microphone and talking with this hand anymore, but I am so grateful to be with you all here today. I am the president of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society out in Charleston, South Carolina, and I got to meet Larry and a lot of the friends and family and support that came up to the ceremony last week, and They asked if I would be here part of the parade, and I said, absolutely. One, it's good to have support when you're the only recipient. Sometimes it could be overwhelming. Two, I saw the support that came out from Tennessee and Chattanooga and all over to support Larry. And this is a special day. This is great for Chattanooga. It's great for Tennessee. It's great for our country. This is what we need more of, inspiration, of people who stand up and do the right thing. I'd be remiss not to say thank you to all the folks that made this possible. It was a lot of hard work, and all the folks that came out. The amount of veterans that I see in the crowds as we are coming down that parade alley, and the amount of patriots that are here in this town makes me proud to be an American. And that's all that we all hope for when we fight in that uniform. We don't try to outdo one another. We just try to do our best in hopes that our service, our sacrifices mean something to the people of this country. And all that we want in return is that we hope that every citizen chooses to be a better person for all of us. So I am honored to be here. I'm going to tell everybody about Chattanooga. I love Tennessee. I got another place to try to convince my wife to move to. But I will always come back and support as much as I can because I know of the love that is here in this town. And now a fellow friend and family member in our society, Larry and his family. I love to welcome him. So thank you again for all that you've done.
Thank you. Next up is Congressman, the Honorable Chuck Fleshman.
Thank you, Frank. Good afternoon, everyone. In a few short hours, I will be on a flight back to our capital city in Washington, D.C. Larry, I want to tell you this. America is proud of you. Tennessee is proud of you. But the greatest, most patriotic city in America, Chattanooga, Tennessee, is really proud of you. God bless you. God bless you. I want the folks here today who are honoring you to know this. For over 4.5 years and before that, these veterans, including B.B. Bell, concerned citizens, Jules Dew in my office, 4.5 years, I wore this man out. Get our story out about Larry Taylor. He deserves the Congressional Medal of Honor. Finally, America got it right. So my only ask is this, that we continue to honor great Americans like Larry, continue to pray for the men and women who serve us every day in uniform so that we can and we are the greatest, freest nation that the world has ever seen. God bless you all and God bless America. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. Okay, one thing we need to do, if you would please stand, we need to post the colors.
Order! Arms! Left turn! March! Forward! March! Left! Left!
Take your seat, please. We need to thank, that's the University of Tennessee Knoxville Army ROTC Dragoon Company. Give them a round of applause. They did a good job. Next up is Chattanooga's Mayor, the Honorable Tim Kelly.
See if I can put that back in there, make things a little easier for the rest of us. Well, thank you, Frank, and thank you, Congressman Fleischman, for your remarks. Every day is a great day to be an American and to be a Chattanoogan, but today that is especially true. It's a wonderful sight out here to see you all, and a distinct pleasure to be here as your mayor as we celebrate and honor a true American hero and one of our own, Vietnam War pilot and Medal of Honor recipient, Captain Larry Taylor. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you for yet another round of applause. Captain Taylor, thank you for your bravery, for your service to the nation, and for inspiring all of us with your remarkable story of valor. You're going to have to get used to all this notoriety. I'm even getting fan mail at the mayor's office to deliver to you, and I'll have to arrange a truck to bring the rest of it. But there's the first one. It will accumulate, I think. It seems we are constantly told in this country that the prevailing characteristic of our present time is rancorous political divisiveness, and that American patriotism is an all-time low. But when I look at you out there, look at this crowd and the celebration here today, I'm reminded that the values that bring us together are far stronger than the differences and the people that try to tear us apart. Captain Taylor, I hope you are feeling the admiration and the honor and the sense of pride that we all feel towards you. And in the same way that you demonstrated courage and sacrifice and integrity and the conviction to do what's right when it mattered most, all with complete humility, I pray that each of us, especially our young people, learn from your example and resolve to do the same in our own lives and the lives around us. I had the good fortune to know Captain Taylor from the car business and my life before politics, and I can honestly say that although I knew nothing of his extraordinary valor and accomplishments then, he certainly wasn't going to advertise it. The character that produced that valor always shone through. There's something uniquely distinguished about Captain Taylor, that humility, a certain cool stoicism, but also a great sense of humor. And not surprisingly, I'm told that ever since you first learned that you'd received the nation's highest honor, you accepted it with that same quiet humility. It's a demeanor that we should all strive to emulate, certainly politicians like me that are up here today. Seeing all the people who came here today to celebrate and honor your great achievement reminds me of just how proud and patriotic a city Chattanooga is. From our city's decades of
Hamilton County Mayor, the Honorable Weston Wamp.
To our many esteemed military guests, we're honored that you're here with us today as our community builds on a special connection that we have to the Medal of Honor. To Sergeant Dave Hill and General B.B. Bell, thank you for your tireless advocacy on behalf of an American hero. To President Biden, we are grateful that you have appropriately honored one of our county's favorite sons and heroes. Since the Civil War, our country has distinguished the highest acts of valor, gallantry, and courage with the Medal of Honor. The medal around Captain Taylor's neck does not change his story from June 18th, 1968. But it does change the way that story will be told moving forward. The truth, as it's always been known to his friends and his family and his comrades, especially those who clung to the skids of his Cobra helicopter. That truth is now immortalized in the most sacred history of our country. Captain Taylor's story now belongs to all of us, and it certainly is an important part of the history of Hamilton County. With that comes a responsibility for all of us to tell it. It's my hope that for decades to come, the young people of this community will realize that you can grow up in St. Elmo, you can attend a public high school, the University of Tennessee, and go on country and act with the kind of courage that you typically only see in a movie. I hope that through the story of Captain Larry Taylor, they realize that they too have what it takes. Finally, Captain Taylor and Tony, thank you for allowing many of us to experience this alongside you. While we have not been to war, and most of us have never demonstrated the kind of commitment and love of country and our fellow man like you have, examining your heroism over the last few weeks has given us all an opportunity to reflect on how we might better serve our community and our country. Congratulations, sir.
Deputy Commanding General of the Army, the 1st Division, Brigadier General Nell.
So on behalf of my commanding general, who's Major General John Meyer, I just want to express to everyone here, to Captain Taylor, how proud we are that a member of the 1st Infantry Division can be such a role model for all of our soldiers. 1st Infantry Division has been fighting this war since World War I. Captain Taylor is the 58th member of the 1st Infantry Division to be awarded the Medal of Honor. We're incredibly proud of him. We're proud that he wore the Big Red 1 patch when he was fighting in Vietnam. Our soldiers are brave, responsible, and on point for the nation, and he is a role model for all of our soldiers who are serving now. We're about to send our Combat Aviation Brigade to Europe. So from World War I in Europe all the way to now, to make sure our allies are reassured against Russian aggression, the 1st Infantry Division is there. We're so proud to have Captain Taylor. So our 1st Infantry Division motto, and I think you'll love to hear this, is duty first, and it's followed by victory. So if you'll join along with me for Captain Taylor, when we'll practice once, I'll say duty first, and you all say victory. Okay, so we'll practice. Duty first. Victory. All right, now a Chattanooga loud. Are you ready? Duty first. Victory.
Nice job. Adjutant General, Tennessee National Guard, Brigadier General Ross.
Thank you, everybody. I'm honored to be here today and offer best wishes to Captain Taylor, Miss Tony, his family and friends, and Petrie. On behalf of the Military Department of Tennessee, the Department of Veteran Services, the governor of the great state of Tennessee, I say congratulations to Captain Taylor and offer thanks for your service. And I quote, "At the risk of your life, above and beyond the call of duty." How fitting it is, it's already been noted that we honor Captain Taylor here in Chattanooga today, the birthplace of the Medal of Honor, the shadow of the Coolidge National Medal of Honor Heritage Center. There's such a rich heritage link in this Medal of Honor to Chattanooga and to Tennessee. You know, that earned the first Medals of Honor were earned about 18 miles from here by Andrews Raiders in the great locomotive chase of the Civil War. Within a year, 33 more Medals of Honor would be for actions at Chickamauga, 8 miles to our south, Missionary Ridge, 3.5 miles to our southeast, and then the battle above the clouds on Lookout Mountain, 3 miles to the southwest. It's already been said, Captain Taylor is the 33rd to receive the medal and the 6th soldier with ties to Chattanooga to receive it. In fact, one of those Chattanoogans, George Gillespie, designed the Army medal that we still use to this day. Tennessee has a proud history of volunteerism, hence the name the Volunteers. Back in 1812, when General Jackson, a Tennessean was asked to assemble 1,500 troops, he showed up with 5,000. You had to think Tennessee had something good going on. Then later, in 1846, when President Polk, a Tennessean, asked for 2,400 men to fight in the Mexican War, 1,000 Tennesseans answered that call. That seemed to seal the deal, you would think. But no, then in 1968, Captain Taylor, when he climbed into that Cobra helicopter and gave the enemy the whole 9 yards to save the patrol team, you again made Tennessee proud. It's only fitting that we honor him today on Patriots Day. Sir, when I read your citation to accomplish your awards, I was astounded it took so long, but I'm so grateful and thankful for all of the elected officials, all the Army and military officials that made this happen eventually. You follow a brave line of Tennesseans, even those that are downrange today, that have worn the fabric of our nation to answer the call as a volunteer. I was thinking about the fact that you performed this heroic act in 1968, and you were awarded the Silver Star for those actions. By your actions on that, but also in the 55 years since that day, you've been living out the Medal of Honor, the character traits of commitment, integrity, sacrifice, courage, patriotism. I begin to wonder what's really changed since that day. It's really occurred to me that it's our realization of the true value of your actions. Not only do you finally have the proper outward symbol of those inward characteristics, but also we now have the opportunity to share and celebrate that and the importance of this moment and how your actions change the lives of the soldiers you saved. Sir, I say thank you. And on behalf of Governor Bill Lee, the governor of the state of Tennessee, the 13,000 Army and Air National Guardsmen of the Tennessee National Guard, we thank you and we give God thanks for you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, next up, please welcome Sergeant David Hill.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for turning out today. I like my home in Nevada. I love it, but I also love Chattanooga. Drafted by Charlie Hobbs and the boys into 203. And it's generally every senior commander issues what they call the sense of the commander. So if subordinate leaders are cut off, they have no communications or they're sporadic, or the tempo of the battle is just too fast for command and control from the rear. It's got to be done from the man who's at the sharpest point of the spear. That is your company level commanders on up. The inspiration for that and education for that starts someplace like West. In Gary's case, it started at University of Tennessee, our program. But I'm reminded of General Douglas MacArthur's, one of the few generals of the Army, and he made his farewell speech to the cadets at West Point for the last time. His words were simple. They were straightforward. They were American. He said, one thing you remember when you do your duties and when you leave this earth, duty, honor, country. Larry Taylor lived by that message. Yeah, might show a little pride to the fact that I too am a member, like Larry, of an alum, I'll call it, of the Big Red One. We used to say, if you got to be one, be a big red one. Master Sergeant Petrie reminded me that of our conversation in Washington, D.C., and he, like a lot of others, asked us, well, just exactly how to hold on to Larry's ship. You know, what'd you do? How'd you grab it? And I said, well, first, very tightly. There is no doubt somewhere in the inventory, if it's still flying, a AH-1G Cobra helicopter with 4 distinct sets fingerprints in the aluminum. So those are ours, and we'll take no credit for them unless they match them to the current fingerprints. For the Big Red One, starting World War I in the trenches, ending most recently in the Korengal Valley or the Hindu Kush of Afghanistan, the Big Red One was always the first. As Stephen Ambrose says, of course, they're the first. They're always there with the most when it's most needed. When we arrived in Vietnam, our base camp at Zion, which is 2nd Brigade headquarters, of which Mike Holden was a member at the same time as Larry and I. He was in the infantry. He had the tough job. We get in every few days, not him. So a tribute to line infantry. Those are the backbone of any infantry division. We walked under a archway made out of white paint. We didn't know it at the time, but we would have to live by that ethos. And these are the guidelines, I think, for every 1st Division soldier is a guiding light, what you look to, particularly when the things are tough and things are going south on you. And your plan is falling apart, as they often do with the very first bullet that is fired. And it read, no mission too difficult, no sacrifice too great, duty first. Quite clear, quite simple. Larry Taylor had his own motto, leave no man behind. And he never did. For him, it meant don't leave him on the ground. And he got us out of there in a most unusual way. I'm sure you know that story. And I don't have time to tell it to you, but I sure would be glad to steer you. For Larry Taylor, when he found that he had no relieving fire team, 2 more Cobras to take his place, so he could go refuel and come back into the fight, and he had no Huey to pick us up. There's no confusion, no lack of clarity. He knew what he was to do as a senior on-scene commander. There was never any question, never any hesitation, and never any regrets afterwards, regardless of any consequences. Simply, he would not leave our 4 Rangers, my 3 teammates, myself, on the ground, out of ammunition, with the enemy kept at bay only when he himself had ammunition, rockets, and miniguns. He just wouldn't do that. We started out as part of D Troop. We were with them. They never figured we left, even though we moved to a different base camp. So the Cobra's extremely low on fuel. They're out of ammunition, or almost so. And we're still encircled. Guidance for that as well, when things aren't working as you planned. And in the words of, at that time, Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore, 1st Air Cavalry Division, 1st and 7th Cavalry, the namesake for Custer's Cavalry, he said, I'm not going to be. There is always one more thing you can do to alter the situation you're facing and turn it in your direction. And after that, one more thing. You never stop thinking. He knew we were going to keep trying, and he'd do no less than to get us out of there somehow. Simple words, but meaningful words. No mission too difficult. No sacrifice too great. Duty first. That's all the general guidance one needs. President Abraham Lincoln quite modestly said, after his speech at the Gettysburg National Cemetery after the great battle, both sides lost many, many soldiers. Our words spoken here today. He was, of course, wrong about that. We all learned about that in school, and still should. But for Larry Taylor and what he did and the actions he undertook and successfully carried off in 18 June 1968, we ought to put the reciprocal on that. In the case of Larry Taylor, collectively, as a troop commander, as a teacher, as a political officer, generally your neighbors and talking to your, particularly raising your kids, raising your grandchildren. My 4-month-old grandson Teddy is here today with his dad Ian, who is a Navy veteran. But for Larry Taylor, let's do it this way. The world will thoroughly note his courageous and dedicated actions and will long remember what he did on the night of 18 June 1968. And that's up to me and you. Thank you.
Next up, one of my heroes, 4-star General B.B. Bell.
Damn, it's hot out here, and I wasn't even sitting in the sun. And I know it's not been easy for you. God bless you. Buford Dennis, where are you? Yell. Buford. Is he AWOL? Oh, there he is. Vietnam veteran Marine. And to all our Vietnam veterans, led by Larry, through Buford, and every one of you guys, one more time, welcome home. God bless you. All right, look, like I said, I'm wrapping it up now. It started just down the road from here, right over that hill, just a short ways from here. Now, the train had run out of water to make steam, and the soldiers had to abandon her. I call trains her, I'm sorry, get mad at me. And headed for the hills in a desperate attempt to escape the enemy. They were deep in enemy territory, and it was useless. And with the enemy hot on his trail, he and the others were captured in the hills above the tracks, just beyond the ridge cut. Next hill over. Beaten and tortured, he refused to provide the enemy with any of the details of his patrol's purpose or mission, including the young boy, man, hero, soldier, for a potential future exchange for high-value prisoners. Frankly, he was trade bait. A couple actually made it, but he did not. The enemy was everywhere, and soon he was recaptured. More torture and more beatings. But this youngest hero of the raid, he was only 19 and an Army private, was good trade bait, so they kept him alive, barely, insurrectionist, and thus free, and returned to their great army. On 25 March 1863, young Private Jacob Parrott of the 33rd Ohio Infantry became the first American to receive the medal. Eventually, 18 other members of that famed Andrews Raiders, the Medal of Honor, for their heroic raid down to Atlanta and coming back up the line to tear up railroad tracks and bridges aboard their commandeered locomotive, the General. And we need to get that back one of these days. Get it again. Any volunteers? Larry, can you help us with that? I'm kidding. We wouldn't want to take the train back much. It was named the General, and that resulted in the great locomotive chase of 1862, which again culminated here, just outside of town, down the road a little bit. This is our heritage. The wind's blowing. It's who we are here in Chattanooga. Chattanooga is the birthplace of the Medal of Honor, thus the Medal of Honor Heritage Center. So here we are today on the very ground of the birthplace of Medal of Honor. And to me, it's nearly sacred. Here on this ground, we too are honored and blessed to have two very recent Medal of Honor recipients up here on this very platform. Retired Army Master Sergeant Leroy Petrie, award intrepidity in Afghanistan in 2008. And America's most recent recipient, you've heard this a couple of times, Chattanooga's own Petrie. And like all the, he brought Tennessee honor, courage, and commitment, and a vow to never leave a soldier behind on a battlefield. He was true to that pledge. He never left a soldier on the battlefield, even at great risk to his own life. He would not quit the field of battle without at least trying. And he succeeded. What an example for us all this very day. And y'all know the rest of the story of him saving the 4 members of the 1st Infantry Division's Long Range Patrol Wildcat II near the village of Ap Go Gong in Vietnam, now 55 years ago. And while 3 of the 4 Rangers of the patrol have now passed to be with our Lord, and they surely are, one great soldier, as you know, Sergeant Dave Hill, who you just heard from. Indeed, Dave's wife, kids, grandkids know that Larry Taylor gave them a husband, a father, and a grandfather rather than giving America a flag-draped coffin. God bless you for being alive today, sir. So, and that family's out there. They're all over the place. And Dave's responsible for making that family happen for today. He's Wildcat II's hero for a lifetime. and he's America's hero for eternity as long as our great nation is here. And he perfectly exemplified those 6 character traits of the Medal of Honor. And there's one more trait that I want to state one more time: a pledge to never leave a soldier behind to die at the hands of the enemy. Larry was more than willing, and indeed did offer his life to save theirs. American hero, Chattanooga's finest, Larry Taylor. This man is what right looks like. Parrott and now Taylor, both on this hallowed ground, and to all those in between, God bless and thank you for what you've done for us. It's most appropriate. Here we could dig down just a teensy bit. I'd get a scoop up. We have the opportunity to look back in awe down the road just a bit over that hill right there. Well, I gave you Captain Taylor. And to all of you, please remain where you are, but I got something I need to do. Captain Taylor, duty first. No, you sit down, sir. I had to salute this man. I want you to stay. You persevered. You're good soldiers. And Marines, Buford, I'll give you that. But please stay for just a few more moments while we have the benediction and retiring of our national colors. May God bless Larry Taylor, each one of you here today, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all very much.
Let's thank General Bell again. That was great. All right, please stand for the benediction.
Bless the United States of America. Amen.
Please remain standing while we retire the colors. Retire the colors.
Order! On! Ready? 1. Ready? 2. Ready? 3. Left, third, march! Forward! Left! 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 Right! Left! 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 Right! Left!
Is open and our exhibits are open. We'd love to have you. Thank you.